Dive. We're the show that's basically your shortcut to getting those aha moments from interesting material.
Yeah, distilling the big ideas.
Exactly. And today, we're looking at something pretty profound, ancient wisdom stories that might, well, change how you see things. Specifically, 3 narratives linked to the Buddha.
And the source you sent over, 3 Buddha wisdom stories for transformation from Abhidgal at the School of Breath, it frames them in a really practical way.
Right.
It's not just history. The idea, as the source suggests, is that these are like frameworks for modern life, really relevant stuff, actually. The School of Breath seems to focus on using these kinds of teachings, with mindfulness, breath work.
Makes sense. So our goal here is to pull out the really useful nuggets from these stories. We want to guide you through how humility helps learning, how managing reactions eases suffering, and the kind of surprising power of realizing we're all in this together.
Yeah, the shared experience aspect.
I have to say, I'm genuinely excited about the insights packed in these. Okay, let's get into it.
Let's do it. So the first one, often called the empty cup, you've got this very knowledgeable scholar visiting the Buddha. He wants to learn more.
Okay.
But the thing is, he just keeps talking, going on and on about everything he already knows, his own ideas, barely stops for air.
I think I know this one.
Yeah.
And the Buddha, he stays calm.
Right.
He starts pouring tea.
Exactly. Pours tea into the scholar's cup and keeps pouring.
Until it overflows, spills everywhere.
And the scholar obviously is like, stop, it's full, you can't add more.
Yeah.
And that's the moment the Buddha smiles and says something like this cup, you are full of your own opinions, your own certainties. How can I teach you unless you first empty your cup?
Wow. So the core message, according to the source, is really about humility. You need that willingness to let go of what you think you know.
Right. To actually be open to learning more, continuous learning needs that space.
That whole beginner's mind idea makes a lot of sense. But, we live in a world that values being an expert, being certain. How does the source say we can, practice that humility day to day without feeling, unsure all the time?
That's a good question. It's framed less as forget everything and more as create space, like a daily mental reset. The source connects it even to breathing the inhale as receiving, the exhale as letting go of maybe old ideas or biases.
So it's not about blanking your mind out.
No, not at all. It's about being present, being open in the moment, whether you're, say, starting a new work project or just listening to someone with a different viewpoint. It's recognizing that sometimes the biggest block isn't ignorance, it's the conviction that we already have all the answers.
Okay, that feels much more actionable. Being present and open, right? Building on that idea of shifting our mindset, we move to the second story. This one's called the arrow of suffering. Really powerful.
It is. So in this story, a man comes to the Buddha. He's completely overcome by grief, by loss, just tormented.
Understandable.
And the Buddha uses this analogy. He asks, when you're struck by an arrow, you suffer, right?
Sure.
But, he asks, if you are then struck by a second arrow, doesn't the pain multiply? Why shoot yourself with that second arrow?
Okay, so there's a key distinction here. The source material clarifies this, right? The first arrow is life, the bad stuff that happens. Grief, loss, difficulty, things outside our control.
Exactly. Unavoidable sometimes.
But the second arrow, that's us. That's our reaction. The anger, the fear, the why me that we pile on top.
That's precisely it. Our resistance to the first arrow.
Okay, let's make that concrete. Like getting stuck in a massive traffic jam when you're already late. That's a common one. How does the second arrow show up there?
Great example. So the traffic jam itself, that's the first arrow. Annoying, inconvenient, but it happened.
Right.
The second arrow is everything that happens inside you next. The fuming, the blaming, the catastrophizing about your schedule being ruined, maybe yelling at other drivers in your head. That's the second arrow.
Ah, okay. The self-inflicted part.
Yes. The Buddha's teaching here is that while we often can't control that first arrow, we can choose how we react. We don't have to shoot the second one. So much of our suffering, the source points out, comes from that second arrow, from our reaction, not the event itself.
And this is where practices like mindful breathing come in. Like the source, the school of breath, suggests. Creating a pause.
Exactly that. Creating that tiny space between the event, first arrow, and your habitual reaction, second arrow. It gives you a chance to respond thoughtfully instead of just, reacting automatically.
It's like separating the thing that happened from the story we tell ourselves about it.
Yeah.
That gives you back some control, some agency. That feels really empowering for anyone listening.
It really is. It encourages you to look at your own pain and ask, okay, how much of this is the situation and how much is, me adding to it? How many second arrows am I shooting myself with every day without even realizing?
Makes you think. Okay, that leads us beautifully into the third story for today, the mustard seed. This one always gets me. It's quite moving.
It truly is. It starts with a mother, completely devastated. Her child has died, and she's carrying the body, seeking out the Buddha.
And she begs him, desperately, to bring her son back to life.
Yes. And the Buddha, with immense compassion, actually says he will.
But there's a condition, isn't there?
There is. He tells her she must first bring him back a handful of mustard seeds. Simple enough, it seems.
But, catch.
The catch is, the seeds must come from a home where no one has ever died. A house untouched by loss.
And so she goes, full of hope, door to door, through her village.
She does. And everywhere she goes, people are kind. They readily offer her the mustard seeds.
But then she asks the question.
Right. Has death ever visited this home? Have you known loss here? And the answer, every single time, is yes. Oh, yes, we lost a parent, or our child, or my spouse. Every single house.
So she finds nothing, not one house free from loss.
Not one. She returns to the Buddha, empty-handed in terms of the seeds. But her heart, her understanding, it's completely changed.
That realization is the core of it, isn't it?
Yeah.
For someone listening who might be going through deep personal loss right now, how does understanding this universality that everyone experiences loss actually help? How does it start to heal beyond just being an intellectual idea?
That's the heart of it, really. It wasn't just an intellectual exercise the Buddha sent her on, it was an experiential one. The impossible task forced her to see and feel that suffering and loss aren't just her burden, they're part of the human condition.
It shifts perspective from why me to this is part of life for everyone.
Exactly. And that shift from feeling utterly isolated in your grief to understanding it as a shared universal experience, that's where the healing begins. It fosters compassion, not just for herself, but for everyone she met. The source suggests this connects back to, again, even our breath, recognizing this shared rhythm of life and death we all participate in. It helps you step outside the intensity of your own pain, just enough to connect with others, to feel belonging instead of total separation.
And realizing you're not alone in it, that can lift such a huge weight. Empathy grows from that shared understanding. It changes how you see your own struggles and how you relate to everyone else's too.
Precisely. It becomes a foundation for compassion.
Okay, so as we bring this deep dive together, let's just quickly recap the core themes we've pulled from these incredible stories based on the material you shared.
That's good.
We started with the empty cup, that powerful lesson about humility, right? The need to sometimes empty out our preconceived notions to truly learn and grow.
Creating that space for new wisdom. Then we move to the second arrow. Such a vital insight, we can't always control the first arrow, life's challenges.
Right, the things that happen to us.
But we can control the second arrow, our reaction, choosing a mindful response over adding more suffering.
Yeah, preventing that self-inflicted pain.
Right.
And finally, the mustard seed. So moving, it showed us the power of recognizing our shared humanity, especially in suffering.
Turning personal grief towards universal compassion, finding connection in that shared experience.
And the key thing, as your source material really emphasizes, is that these aren't just, nice philosophical ideas. They're presented as practical tools, things you can actually use day to day.
Exactly. Tools for navigating life with a bit more clarity, maybe a bit more peace, a more mindful response to whatever comes up.
They offer a way to be more open, maybe more resilient, and definitely more connected. Less self-imposed struggle.
Well put. They guide us towards wisdom in action.
So, as you go on with your day, maybe take a moment to think. Which of these ideas really landed with you today? Is there a cup of assumptions you might need to empty to learn something new?
Or perhaps think about that pause. Where could you insert a breath between an event and your reaction today before shooting that second arrow?
Yeah, finding that peace and recognizing the reality we all share, it's something to carry with you. We really look forward to diving deep with you again next time.